The morning mist clings to the earth like a heavy secret, and here stands a man ready to face it. He doesn't look back at the warm lights of the city he left behind. His journey begins where the paved roads end and the whispers of the wild take over. He is a young man with messy dark hair, wearing a worn-out gray hoodie and faded jeans, with a determined yet weary expression. Every step he takes into the damp grass is a choice to leave the noise. He isn't running away from life, he is running toward himself. The silence here isn't empty, it's full of answers he's been too busy to hear.
You don't need to meet Liam or have wondered what the rest of the world is doing with their lives right now. Their paths are theirs, and their shadows are not your burden to carry. Our protagonist, the young man with messy dark hair and his gray hoodie, pushes past the first line of ancient oaks. He realizes that the crowd often moves in circles, chasing reflections of success that aren't their own. By choosing this solitary trail, he is rejecting the script written by others. He steps over a fallen log, his boots sinking slightly into the mossy earth. This is the moment where the external world fades and the internal world begins to speak. He is alone, but for the first time, he isn't lonely. The terrain begins to change as the incline grows steeper and the air grows thin. His breath hitches in his chest, a rhythmic reminder of the effort required to ascend. The young man with messy dark hair, wearing a worn-out gray hoodie, feels the strain in his calves as he maneuvers around sharp granite rocks. The path is no longer a path, it's a puzzle of roots and loose stones. He slips once, his knee hitting the cold ground, but he doesn't curse the mountain. He understands that friction is what creates heat, and heat is what forges steel. He wipes the dirt from his palms and stands back up. The forest is watching him, testing his resolve.
A thick fog rolls in, swallowing the trees and blurring the horizon into a gray void. The young man with messy dark hair in his gray hoodie stops, his chest heaving as he looks around. Doubt starts to creep in, like the cold dampness of the mist, whispering that he's lost. He can't see the top, and he can no longer see the bottom. This is the mental wall where most people turn back to find the comfort of the group. But he knows that the fog is just an illusion of the atmosphere. He closes his eyes, centering his weight and listening to his own heartbeat. He trusts his feet more than his eyes right now.
He looks down at his hands, seeing the small cuts and the dirt under his fingernails. This young man with messy dark hair, wearing a worn-out gray hoodie, smiles a tired, knowing smile. These marks are the first pieces of the new man he is building out here in the wild. Every scar is a lesson learned in the absence of a teacher. He realizes that the version of him that started this climb is already dead. A stronger, more resilient spirit is taking its place within the shell of that gray hoodie. He doesn't need validation from a crowd to know he is making progress. The mountain is the only witness he requires. Suddenly, the sound of rushing water breaks through the silence of the fog. He pushes through a dense thicket of ferns to find a crystal-clear stream cutting through the stone. The young man with messy dark hair, wearing a worn-out gray hoodie, kneels by the icy water. He splashes his face, the shock of the cold awakening his senses and clearing his mind. The water flows over the rocks, unyielding and persistent, carving its own way through the mountain. He sees himself in that flow, a force that doesn't ask for permission to exist. He drinks deeply, feeling the energy of the earth fueling his tired limbs. He is ready for the final ascent. The final stretch is a vertical wall of gray stone and sparse vegetation. The young man with messy dark hair, wearing a worn-out gray hoodie, reaches up, his fingers finding small crevices in the rock. His muscles ache, and his lungs burn for oxygen, but his spirit is soaring. He is no longer walking, he is ascending, transcending the limits he once believed in. Every pull upward is a victory over the person he used to be. The wind begins to howl around him, trying to push him off the ledge, but he is grounded,
anchored by a purpose that only a man who walks alone can truly understand. He is almost there. He pulls his body over the final ridge, and the world explodes into color. The sun has finally conquered the horizon, painting the clouds in shades of gold, violet, and fire. The young man with messy dark hair, wearing a worn-out gray hoodie, stands tall on the summit. He is the highest point for miles, a lone figure against the infinite sky. The wind whips his hair, but he stands unshakable, a monument to self-reliance. From here, the city looks like a toy, and his problems look like dust. He has built himself out of the silence and the struggle. He has reached the peak that few ever dare to see. He sits on a flat rock, watching the shadows retreat from the valleys below. In this profound peace, the young man with messy dark hair in his gray hoodie finds the ultimate truth. You don't build yourself in the noise of the world. You build yourself in the echoes of your own solitude. He reflects on the climb, realizing that the obstacles weren't there to stop him, but to prepare him. He feels a deep sense of gratitude for the loneliness he once feared. It was the fire that burned away the dross and left only the gold. He is complete, not because of someone else, but because he found the strength to walk his own path. Now the real journey begins, for he carries this mountain within him wherever he goes. The young man with messy dark hair, wearing a worn-out gray hoodie, stands up and prepares for the descent, a new man. He knows that the path back will be easier, not because the trail changed, but because he did. Remember, you are your greatest project and your most important companion. Walk alone if you must, but never stop building the person you were meant to be. If this journey resonated with you, subscribe to join our community of seekers. Like this video to spread the light, and comment, "I walk alone," if you're ready to start your climb. Your mountain is waiting.